Ho, ho, ho. Hello, boys and girls. This is Santa here to answer all your questions and tell you a little bit about how the North Pole works. Now, let's get to the Alright, your first question. Where do elves come from? Now, originally they come to us as temps, but after years of backbreaking labor, sleepless nights, and pollution, they change a bit. Their toes curl, their ears pointin', and they lose about a foot or so in height. And, well, after that, making toys is pretty much the only job they can get now, so they're kind of stuck here. We don't tell them that ahead of time, though, because we need the workers. But they seem happy, right? Alright, your next question. Why is Santa Claus so fat? Ha ha ha, very funny. You, man. I'd like to see you try and survive for 4,000 years on nothing but milk and cookies. You have one plate of them 1,000,000 years ago, and no one will stop talking about it. Very funny. Ha ha ha. You're lucky I'm not ballooned out to the sides around here. Alright, your next question. Why does Santa Claus like milk and cookies? Yeah, I explained it in the first one. They just keep giving them to me, and I can't stop it. But I will admit I do like them. After all, you don't get this big gut from not liking them, but after a few years, you learn to get creative with how you consume them. You know, they still got it for me. They're still good. Alright. Why does Santa Claus wear red? Okay. Originally, I wore white. All over, just my full suit down all the way to my boots to white. But a few mishaps always happened with some of you in a sleigh, a carriage, or even on a horseback, where I would just get trampled. I would just get trampled. And eventually I had the idea to turn most of the costume red after all my blood seeped through it. And then they started to see me. Oh yes, then they started to see me. Is it easy to climb down chimneys? No, it is not easy to climb down chimneys. Have you seen how thin they can be? It's like I'm trying to squeeze through a pipe. And I have a bad back, and it hurts. And no, it is not fun. And then there's some of you who leave the fire in the fireplace on. How do you expect me to get through fire? How? It hurts. Okay? It does. Alright. Where does Santa Claus come from? Okay, a few people asked this question. A lot of people think I was some guy named St. Nicholas. A lot of other people think I'm just this random old man giving out presents. And a lot of people think I'm an alien. Well, the truth is obvious. I work at a company, okay? It's a company with all the other mythical creatures, and a lot of us, there's quite a few of us who aren't around anymore because you kids forget, and little by little we stop existing. So thanks for that, yeah. And it's a looming threat now, and even I am not immune to this. I can't even tell you how many times I've been just sitting down and I've nearly lost a foot for you guys not believing in me. But life goes on, and I know a lot of my friends aren't really here right now, but, you know. A lot of people want to know, does Santa Claus drive a sleigh? I used to, okay? I used to. But then something magical happened. The car. So yes, I drive a car constantly, a little Honda, but there is this downside though, because when you're driving along trying to get every single house in the night, you're basically you're driving like you don't want to live. And I do, but it scares the hell out of Santa. Okay, how old is Santa Claus? Now that's a good question, because a lot of people think I've been here since the first Christmas, and I just appeared there. But the thing is, I've been alive for quite a while. Since before Christmas, but originally I worked in a cubicle over at, the company, and more or less they gave the idea to spring me out onto the market and make me the new face, for brightening up your holidays, since there was a lot of famine, plague, death, and a bunch of other shit going around. But I wish they just stopped at me. They shouldn't have made Jack Frost, Krampus, and all the other holiday losers. Everyone knows Christmas. It's the biggest. It's the best. Everyone knows it. Come on. Alright, let's see. Your next one. Is Santa Claus married to Mrs. Claus? I was. I was at one point, I'll say that, but when you're with the same woman for nearly 4,000 years, things get stale pretty fast. Now, personally, I had a few issues with the drink and and things were going well until that bunny came in here. He out eggs once a year and everybody loves him. Well, of course she loved him too, so now I'm alone here at the North Pole with just the elves and what's left of the reindeer, but no, I'm not with Mrs. Claus anymore, and thank you for asking. Alright, let's see what's next. Why does no one believe in Santa Claus? Okay, come on. Just because I make it impossible to find me, and I leave no presence or trace that I was there, you can't believe in me. It's fine for Jesus, but with me, no. Now you gotta start getting logical. Well, another thing is, Amazon is killing us, okay? More parents would rather just push a button on their phone than wait for me to come. Come on. Really? You're that lazy? But, well, I do kind of, you could say I fixed that issue with myself, which, it's not really legal, but come on, you just gotta wait a few more days and then I'll just gift wrap the package and give it back to you. But some of the, thanks to porch pirates out there, the work is a lot harder. I can't tell you how many times I've opened a box to find bees or something a lot worse. Does Santa Claus endorse Coca-Cola? No, I don't. They don't pay me a cent. A few years ago, everyone just started using my likeness, using the image of me without my permission, with no cash, no nothing, not even a case of Coca-Cola. They're sending to me. But yet, I'm endorsing it. I'm drinking it. I'm on the logo on it on the holidays. So yeah, no they don't. And f*** you, Coca-Cola. You stealing. Okay, let's keep going. How does Santa Claus see everything? Okay, this might not be okay to say, but it was back in the day, before everyone got so sensitive. But I put cameras in everything I deliver. Okay? And I know it's not right, and I know it's not, well, it's against their rights. But how do you expect me to know what you're doing every day, every hour of the day? How do you expect me to know who's nice and who's naughty, okay? And it's kind of a double-edged sword because I have to watch you even when you're doing the worst and the grossest things I've ever seen. You people are sick and you disgust me. How does Santa Claus go to every house and not get seen? Well, that's simple. Because I usually find the kids, and I do admit, I tell them that I'm Santa Claus. And I send them off to bed with a glass of milk. It's not that hard. It's pretty, it could be better. My methods are getting better. Okay, the final question. Why is Santa Claus so fat? Again, really? Come on, really? You know what? Enough of this. F*** you, and Christmas.